Now, for those that are earning above 800,000 naira a month, what changes for us? What is the difference between what we are paying now and what we'll be paying next year?
The first 800,000 naira out of your salary is still exempt from tax.
Oh, nice.
For instance, if you are earning 3 million naira,
okay,
tax will be charged on 2.2 million naira.
Okay.
So 800,000 has been removed from
it's
the 3
like
million.
tax free.
Yeah,
oh, if I'm a salary earner, I can show my evidence of my rent payments and use that to reduce my tax.
Yeah, up to 500,000.
Up to 500,000.
20% up to 500,000.
What of people that they have their 9 to 5? Maybe they work with the government or with a private organization, but on the side they still do some, side hustles.
When it comes to taxes, tax is charged on income from all sources. Okay. So once that particular Uber you're doing is a transaction, you're offering service to get the money, that money is also taxable.
All right, so because this video is going to be a long one, I'm going to cut it off into different sections. So all you have to do is just look below this video and you see the different sections for salary earners, for investors, for Nigerians in diaspora, for freelancers, so that you can just go straight to the particular section that you need. If you're listening to this, you're probably like me. You've been hearing a lot of whispers and rumors about the new law coming in 2026 for tax. If you're like me, then you're anxious and you want to know what exactly is the right information because there's so many things flying around on the internet. Well, I did what any reasonable person would do. I called in a tax expert and consultant to help us clear the air and tell us exactly what it is that will start happening in January 2026. With me here is Mr. Tehemba Tepav. He's going to be telling us exactly how this new tax law affects all of us, right? From salary earners to business owners to Nigerians in diaspora to investors and even crypto traders. No confusing terms, just straight talk on how this new tax law will affect our pockets come next year. So first is first, what exactly is happening in January 2026? I've been seeing so many things online. And my question is, what is coming in 2026? Is it better or worse than what we have now currently?
Okay, well, 2026 is actually going to be a very great year because the President Tinubu-led government has issued a new tax act, 4 new tax acts, and they will take effect from 1st January 2026. Okay. Then talking about whether it's good or worse, it depends on the angle we're looking at it from. Okay. Personally, when it comes to low-income earners, it's a good one for them because it will allow low-income earners have more cash, right, to be able to spend on their needs. And then when you look at the angle of business owners that operate limited liability companies, you see the small company threshold has been raised. So that's also good for business owners. Where we can say it's not so good is when the government now is bringing more people to the tax net. Of course, that's the right thing to do. But many people don't like paying taxes. So of course, bringing them to the tax net will look, to them, it's not so pleasant. But then that's the right thing to do actually.
Right. Because I've heard that what government is trying to do is that they're looking for ways because Nigeria is owing plenty money. So now government is looking for ways to squeeze money out of our pockets. That's what I heard. What do you think?
Oh, well, when it comes to, I always tell people when they ask me this kind of questions that, when it comes to taxes is an obligation. It's not a subject of whether government uses the money for infrastructure development or not. That is how it is in the tax law. However, there's also what is called social contract. That's government keeping to their own side of having to give out social amenities and also infrastructural development to the citizens. You understand? So basically, it's actually looking good. 2026 will be a great one. The government we hope the government actually utilizes the tax for the betterment of the country.
Okay. Did you hear that? He said that 2026 is looking good. All right. I think I believe him. Let's now get into the details, right, on how this affects different categories of people. Let's start with the majority, salary earners. So if you're someone that collects salary every month, which to be honest, a lot of us, collect salary, what changes for us? What is the difference between what we have now and what is coming next year?
Okay, the difference is you'll be allowed more cash to spend on necessities because based on the incoming tax law, if you earn less than 800,000 for a year, that's annually, you don't get to pay tax. It's people that earn above 800,000 that gets to pay tax. Okay. So that means the masses that's the
Okay.
public, will be allowed more money to spend on their necessities.
Okay. And this 800,000 is actually the yearly figure, not monthly
Yeah,
figure.
it's a yearly figure.
So let's not confuse it. So don't say because you're earning like 500K a month, you won't pay tax. No, it is only for those that are earning less than 800,000 naira a year from January to December. Those ones will not pay tax.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for those that are earning above 800,000 naira a month, what changes for us? What is the difference between what we are paying now and what we'll be paying next year?
Okay, for even those that earn above 800,000 naira a month, the first 800,000 naira out of your salary is still exempt from tax.
Oh, nice.
For instance, if you are earning 3 million naira,
Okay.
tax will be charged on 2.2 million naira.
Okay.
So 800,000 has been removed from
It's
the
like
3 million.
tax-free.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's like tax free. So
Okay.
2.2 million, you pay tax on it.
Okay. So let me see if I'm getting this right. Let me use someone, for example. Let's say someone is earning 3 million a year.
Yeah.
Walk me through how the person is going to pay tax.
Okay, let's take, for instance, you are earning 3 million naira a year annually.
Yes.
Right. The first 800,000 naira out of the 3 million naira will be tax exempt. So now the government is going to charge 2.2 million naira.
Okay.
And then let's look at a scenario where the new rent relief is also applicable. So you
Okay.
have further allowable expenses on your taxes.
Okay.
But then we'll discuss the rent relief later subsequently when we
Okay.
get further deep into it.
Okay, so that's not as scary as I thought. Right. So what of all those deductions that they said we can use to reduce our taxable income, like pension, housing fund? Walk me through it.
Okay, pension, NHF, all those are still there. You can actually still use it to reduce your salary, right?
Okay.
To reduce your taxable amount, but those are contributions. The money don't
Okay.
come to your pocket.
Yes.
You have to pay to PenCom. It's a
Okay.
contribution you have to make to PenCom.
Okay.
So of course it's a contribution, so it will reduce
Okay.
your salary,
Okay.
right? Then your taxable amount will be quite lower. And then
Okay.
there is NHF, which is no longer compulsory right now.
Okay.
And then there are other payroll deductions that can use to be reduce your tax, and then your taxable amount will be quite lesser.
Okay.
But then those deductions are not meant to be paid back to you in your pocket. They are
Yes.
contributions that will pay to government organizations.
Yes. Okay, now, so what I'm thinking now is, supposing I'm a salary earner and I realize that this new tax law, because I earn well,
Yeah.
this new tax law is going to increase my tax.
Yeah.
What I can do is to simply go to my office and tell them that I want to contribute more to my housing fund.
Yeah.
Probably I don't have a house yet.
Yeah.
So I can start contributing more to my housing fund,
Yeah.
knowing fully well that I will not get that money back.
Yeah.
But I can always use it to get mortgage towards owning a house,
Yeah.
right? I can go to the housing fund and say, you know what, I've been contributing and I want to use it to get a house. That applies, right?
Yeah, that actually applies. The only difference is you are not getting the money instantly.
Yes.
You're not getting the money instantly,
Yes.
and then the money goes to the government. But then you can still, in a way,
I
claim
can still, in
yeah,
a way, get
claim-
it, but at least use it and get a house or
that's
something.
a smart idea. That's a
Yeah,
smart one,
especially with this MRIF getting with
Yeah.
less than 10%. I think it's about 9%.
Yes.
Yes, so I can use that contribution.
Yeah.
So let's not see it as a waste.
Yeah.
Whether you're adding more money to your pension in your old age, you will get it back.
Yeah.
If you're adding more money to your housing fund, you can use it to work towards becoming a homeowner.
Yeah.
Right, and then you even though he said it still goes to the government, but at all, let it not be called tax.
Yeah.
Let it be something that you will still benefit from in form of pension or in form of owning a house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course. But then again, the government is still over in the purview of the government. If the government sees that that's a deliberate act to evade tax, then of course it also may not be permissible.
Deliberate act. Okay. I want to put more money in my pension. I want to put money in my housing fund. Which one is deliberate act again?
Because reasonably, it could be a deliberate act to evade taxes. So the government can also decide to, let's look at it again and see
Are you
if we can
serious?
allow these expenses
Are
totally.
you
Or they can
serious?
say a percentage of it can be allowed, but a certain percent, up to a certain percentage
I
may not be
beg.
allowed.
I beg. All right. So what should salary earners be doing differently from now? Is there any extra documentation? Is there anything they should do, or they should just wait and see how it turns out?
Okay, for salary earners, I will advise that what salary earners need to do is, if you pay rent, you should be very particular with your rent agreement, your payment receipts, and all, so that you
Okay.
can use it to claim your rent relievable on your tax payment.
Okay.
You need to pay attention to that very well, and then you also pay attention to your expenses and all, so you don't get to mismanage your funds. So that's basically from me. Pay attention to your rent receipts, your rent agreement, and all. Because of course, if you want to relieve your rent from your your salary to pay lower taxes, you have to present those
Proof.
documentation. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just getting this now. So if I'm a salary earner, I can show my evidence of my rent payment and use that to reduce my tax.
Yeah, up to 500,000.
Up to 500,000.
20% up to 500,000. For
Okay.
instance, if your rent is 1 million naira, 20% is 200,000.
Okay.
So that can fly. But
Okay.
if your rent is, let's say, 10 million, 20% is 2 million. That's
Okay.
too much. They can only give you up to 500,000.
Oh, oh, okay.
They can only give you a
Wow.
relief up to 500,000 annually.
That's good to know. So you can see if you're paying rent, don't just transfer to a gas account, to landlord's account and just leave it like that. Make sure you have a written documentation that you can use to claim, against taxes. All right, so that's really helpful.
Yeah.
So one more thing for salary earners. What of people that they have, their 9 to 5, maybe they work with the government or with a private organization, but on the side, they still do some, side hustles. Maybe they use their vehicles for Uber or they sell things online.
Yeah.
How does this whole tax thing affect them?
Okay, when it comes to taxes, the tax law, personal income tax, tax is charged on income from all sources. Okay. So once that particular Uber you're doing is a transaction, you're offering service to get the money, that money is also taxable.
Okay.
So you're supposed to remit that money also to the government in form of personal income taxes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if I'm selling things online and at the end of the year, I'm supposed to go and file and tell them, look at how much I made from my online sales business.
Yes.
What if I don't do that?
Well, if you don't do that, that's a case of tax evasion. If the government comes, they'll crack down on you very hard.
Well, okay, how would they catch me? For example, I have a 9 to 5 and I'm selling things online.
Yeah.
If they come and ask me for tax, I'll show them my 9 to 5 tax. How would they catch me in my business?
Okay, that brings us to the topic why the government say everybody should link their tax identification number to your bank account. So, of course, if your tax identification number is linked to your bank account and salary is basically in a consistent amount.
Once a month.
Consistent amount. Then they're seeing other income and of course and a lot of people sometimes when they make transfer to you, they'll say purchase of XYZ. So it's already income. You cannot hide.
What if it's gifts, free offering from people?
Well, if it's gifts, it's permissible. It's not taxable because it's not a transaction of service, goods or service. You understand? But then it depends on the kind of gift. If it's in an office setting, maybe they give to a car, that's benefit in kind. It's taxable.
Okay.
Yeah.
If my office gives me a car, maybe for performance, maybe they say I'm the best staff of the year, and they give me a car.
No, if the car is to carry out the job of the office, maybe official car, that's taxable.
To go on,
that's
maybe
benefit in kind.
when I was a banker, then they used to give us car to go on marketing.
Yeah, benefit in kind is taxable. Yes.
All right, so basically everything counts now. You can't really hide anything. Government is shining torchlights. So it's better to be prepared ahead of time, because I heard that if they catch you by themselves, it's tougher. But if you go and present everything to them, you tend to pay less. But when they are the ones that figure it out, they tend to be harsh, right?
Yeah, taxes are basically self-assessment. When we talk about self-assessment, okay, I do business. I will check my income, check my revenue, check my expenses, check my income as against the tax law, because there are allowable and non-allowable expenses. Okay. And also when it comes to company income tax, there's what is called rent.
Okay.
But then it was later modified in the new tax law as WE. The full meaning is your expense is supposed to be wholly, reasonably, exclusive and necessary for operating that business.
Oh.
So you can do expenses, but if it's not reasonable, they can add it back for tax purposes.
Anyway, this is why we need to work with guys like you. Because I'm sure people like you know how to, package all those expenses and still make it holy, right?
When it comes to tax, there's tax avoidance and there's tax evasion. Tax evasion is a crime, but avoidance is not a crime.
Yes.
So there's always a way to go about avoidance. So.
All right. So now let's talk about freelancers and remote workers. This one has been causing a lot of panic online because these guys have been hiding. Nobody was talking to what is tax? They don't even know what tax is.
They were just making
and now there's a lot of panic. The people are saying that they're going to be paying 23% tax. Please tell me exactly how does this new tax law affect these guys?
Okay, a lot of people ask me this question in my sessions, in my consultations, and then For me, based on my analysis, I believe those are the major people the governments are even targeting, because
Wow.
the government is moving to digital economy.
Yeah.
Taxing digital economy. If you notice,
Yes.
recently the government has been going after big digital brands. Meta has had a case with the government recently
Wow.
to pay about 13 point something million dollars and
Wow.
all. So the government is moving to digital economy. So anybody that operates digitally is supposed to pay taxes. And the government have forged tax treaties with other countries,
Yeah.
which they have not disclosed to us the countries yet, because it's still, but then there are tax treaties everywhere.
Wow.
So if you are a remote worker and you are working in countries where the government has tax treaties, you cannot run away. Because anytime the FRS or the government needs your record, it will be sent directly to them.
So the company will be the one to even send to
Yeah.
go. So you can't even come and say maybe you're earning $2,000. Cannot come and pretend to be earning 1,000
No, you can-
because they will get the information from the source.
from the source.
Ah.
I know every country needs to keep to their own side of the bargain, so they wouldn't want to
Yes.
have to break the tax treaty. So of course they'll
Yes.
provide your information.
Wow. Wow. So what can a freelancer now do? Because, someone that earns outside the country, maybe they're earning dollars and pounds and all that. What are they going to start doing now going forward?
Okay, well, first they need to, personal income tax is based on residency principle. Residency principle is basically where you stay. Let's use Nigeria, for instance. Let's assume, for people that know Abuja and Nasarawa very well, you stay in New Yanya, you work in Abuja. If you're paying your personal income tax, you're supposed to pay to Nasarawa state government, because based on residency rule, that's where you stay.
Okay.
Then let's say Nigeria and abroad. You stay in Nigeria, you work abroad. Residency principle, you're supposed to pay in Nigeria.
Yes.
So what you need to do is the state you stay. If you stay in Lagos, LIRS, Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. If you stay in Abuja, FCRS, and all the states have their state tax office. So what you need to do is, first you have to register for personal income taxes, then generally have your personal income tax thing, tax identification number for taxes. So if you have that, then you have to ensure you track your income appropriately, because anything you're trying to hide, the government already have access to it based on the tax treaties and all with other countries.
Yes.
And then there's a provision, if you get to pay taxes on that income in other countries, which most times is not the case, there is a way that it could be offset on your taxes you are paying in Nigeria, if there are documentations and everything is actually accurate.
So you're saying that if my employer who is outside the country has already deducted tax before paying me, there are ways to still calculate it so that I don't have to pay double.
Yeah. If the documents and information are very accurate and there are proof of them, and especially it's more easier in countries where there are tax treaties.
Okay. So that means that as a freelancer, I will need to ask my employer to give me the full documentation, like my salary slip, something like that. I should get it. Pay slip, yes. So that I can see all the deductions, so that when I want to defend myself, I have all the adequate. All right, that's good. So here is a question that many of them are asking. They have never paid tax for years. They have been earning online, earning good money online. So what happens now? Are they in trouble? Is there going to be like an amnesty? Are we going to forget all those years that they have not been paying? Like, are they just going to start paying from 2026? What exactly happens?
Well, this brings us to this particular quote by Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin said the two certain things in life is debt and taxes. So of course, you need to pay. You need to pay, and then
they will start calculating from all the years.
And then, but what happens is, government deals with the capacity to enforce. And the truth is, most state tax offices, as it is, their capacity to enforce is not so strong. But then now that JTB, they are strengthening Joint Tax Board Act to bring the state and federal tax offices together and to be having some meetings. Maybe the capacity of the state, the federal tax office, which is FIRS, will rub on the state. And then if they start enforcing, it's going to be very crazy. But remote workers and people that work with companies that are abroad, what they just need to do, basically get your thing, and if there are any backlog, in fact, I even advise some people that you need to start remitting these taxes, because every month that passes, penalties keeps accumulating. Every month that passes. So it's better to stop the penalties now, pay for the years you could pay, and then go and just focus on going forward. But then, if you don't do this and the tax office say, okay, let's even look at the backlogs. But what I know the tax office would do, what I suspect they would do is, most times they go for the low-hanging fruit first. So when they pick the low-hanging fruit and maybe they have not met up to their target, because they have targets.
Yeah, they have targets.
They always have targets. Then they will now start checking others in details.
Yeah, they have target actually. And you know what? Why this is a very serious topic is because of this target issue. They have targets, and so the workers will try to meet their target because they give them some bonuses and allowances when they meet their target. So They need this money from you guys. So what if as a freelancer, I pretend to have just started working, maybe in January so that I can, forget all those past ones.
Yeah.
Can I escape it? Can I just pretend that I just started working?
Well, there's a substantive record, which is your bank statement. So your bank statement will always sell you out, except you have not been. There is no how you deal and you're not receiving money through your bank statement.
We'll cover the bank statement with the blood of Jesus.
So let's hope the
They will
blood
not
of
see
Jesus
it.
will
They will
work
not
out.
see it, and they will pray that the staff will not have enough, enough time and manpower to go around and start checking old records. Anyway, you guys are hearing, so you know what to do going forward. Keep proper records and just, do the right thing as early as you can so that you won't have to pay penalties and fines. Okay, now for freelancers, what about their expenses? Do they get some deductions like their internet bill, their workspace, their laptop? Can these things be deducted as expenses before their taxable income?
Okay, it's in two ways. If you are a freelancer and you are working as an individual, personal income tax is on income.
Oh.
But if you are working as a business,
Oh.
because some people interact with their foreign clients as business, and some
Yes.
people interact as individuals.
Individuals.
So if you interact as business, that's where allowable expenses,
Will come
allowable
in.
in quotes, because
Yeah.
not all expenses are allowable.
Holy.
Yeah, holy, yeah. Not all expenses are allowable. So
Yes.
allowable expenses will be deducted.
Okay.
But if you are operating with them as an individual, the personal income tax principle, they pay you that normal 9 to 5 people pay will apply to you.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have other deductions like pencom and the rest, you can
Okay.
try to deduct it.
Okay.
But if those deductions are not there, you have to pay on your income.
That means from what I'm getting now, it would be advisable for any freelancer to register as a business and start interacting with their clients as a business.
To a great extent, even registering as a business, there are also a little challenges or lacunas to it, because most of those money that comes from foreign organizations are actually huge. If you accumulate it annually
In a year.
yeah, it's actually huge.
Might be
you
over
see,
50 million.
yeah, most times.
But
more
then they
than-
will now enjoy holy expenses. I like that word. They will now be able to enjoy those deductions that come with
Yes.
having a business.
Yeah,
right?
but most of the deductions now, the tax authorities will be more careful with their transactions, because
Yes.
most of the times they want to move money around, and so
Yeah.
they'll be very, very careful. So any
Yeah.
which way it is, you just need to have an expert that understands
Exactly.
it to be able
Exactly. So see, if you're a freelancer, a remote worker, if you're a business owner and you know that you're earning good income, this is not the time to try to play hide and seek. This is the time to seek out a professional that will help you look at your records and package it well for you so that you can pay little to no tax. I'll be keeping the contact information of Mr. Tahembe here in the description of this video. So please reach out to him for your own good and for the good of your pockets. Let's now move on to business owners, right? I'm talking of the person selling akara on the street,
Yeah.
the person that has a boutique, or the person that sells things online. Maybe they sell clothes, wigs,
Yeah.
or maybe shoes, wristwatches. How does this affect them?
Okay, people that sell on the street. Let's start with people that do sell online.
Okay.
People that sell, there are some people that are registered, there are some that are not registered.
Yes.
If you are registered as a business name, which is enterprise,
Yes.
of course you still pay personal income tax, but you pay as a business.
Okay.
But if you don't register, you have to pay personal income tax. Like all the monies are coming
It's
to you
your
and
own.
you're earning. So you either pay personal income tax as an individual or personal income tax as a business and enterprise, registered as
Okay.
a business name with the
Okay.
Corporate Affairs Commission. So all these things apply. Both the deductions, there are some allowable deductions and non allowable deductions. So it depends on how you are playing it. If you are playing it as an individual or you are playing it as a business name, which is an enterprise registered with the CAC.
Okay, so let me get this straight. If I'm a business owner and
Yeah.
I don't register my business, government can assume that all the inflows that hit my account are pure income.
Yeah, they are pure income. And
Are
then
you
also,
serious?
if you are carrying out business based on the Company Income Tax Act, no, not Company and Allied Matters Act,
Yes.
comma. If you are carrying out a business that is not registered, that's a crime. That's a crime, and it's actually punishable by law. In the worst case scenario, a jail term can be attached to it.
Jail term, okay.
In the worst case scenario.
some people are just trying to start a new business. Maybe they just manage to get enough capital for the raw materials, or maybe someone wants to start Zobo business. You now tell the person first of all go and register. Where would they see the money to register? How much does it even cost to register for CAC, business name and limited liability company? What is the average cost?
Well, it actually depends if you are registering for a business, and it depends on who you are contracting to do it for you.
Okay.
There are lawyers, there are chartered accountants, and also there are chartered secretarians. But on average, if you are registering a business name, it should be within 30. Currently, because the fees has been increased, the fee was increased on the 1st of October. They implemented a new fee structure for registrations.
Everything
They implemented a new fee structure. So on average, within a business name, within 35 to 50,000, you should get a business name now.
Okay.
But before now, it was lesser. Then a company between up to 100,000 for a 1 million share capital. Companies have various share capital. Yeah.
So the higher the share capital, the higher the fee.
Yeah.
Is this a service you render?
Yes, of course. We render the service at our company.
Oh, cool. So if someone wants to register their company or maybe move their business name to a limited liability company, it's something that you can help them to do.
Yeah, sure. I've helped more than 2,000 people achieve that.
Okay. You know what? I think I'm going to get a discount for my community members. So I'm going to work out something with him so that when you meet him to do this for you, you will tell him that you're from Finance with Anne, so that he will give, first of all, ask him the price, then after him, Finance with Anne, so that he will now he will now give you the discount.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
So his contact is going to be in the description of this video. So now what I've been hearing is that if I register a business and my business makes less than 15 million in a year, I will not pay zero. I won't pay any tax to the government.
Yeah, that's true. But then we need to understand something. Not paying tax doesn't mean the business owner will not file for taxes.
Okay.
There are two different things. Some people feel that once I'm not up to 50 million, I should just be resting in my house. I have nothing to do with taxes. No, that's not the case.
Okay.
You are not going to pay tax. Your tax is 0%, but you need to file. There's what they call self-assessment. You have to get an auditor who do your audited financial statement. Then the tax computations, and then to be authenticated with an audit seal. Then you file to the tax office. So they get to do their preliminary assessment, check what you have filed. And if it gets to a certain extent, they may decide to request for a bank statement to confirm if what you file is actually correct. So if it's actually correct, that's fine. They will pass you, and that's all. But you need to file. If you don't file, there are penalties for not filing. You may not have to pay tax, but if you don't file, there are penalties.
There are penalties. And after paying the penalty, you still pay that tax.
Yeah, that's if there is no tax. Even though
there is no tax,
you still pay penalty.
Just because you did not file, you will now end up paying penalty, even without paying tax.
Yeah, so if you have tax to pay and you do not pay, that's where you pay penalty for not filing. You pay the tax, you pay interest on the tax, and you pay penalty on the not paying the tax, and you pay interest on
interest. Why are they charging me interest?
You are keeping the government's money.
Can you
are
imagine?
Keeping the government's money.
Okay, that means they're saying that they would have invested the money if they had received it. You see, even the government knows that you shouldn't keep idle money. So even the government earns interest from your money. So why haven't you started investing? Right? I know this is off topic, but you know that this is what all this channel is all about. Showing you different ways that you should invest. If the government is investing, why are you not investing? Now, if I don't want to pay someone to help me file, I want to file by myself. Is this something that is allowed? Can I just go to the tax office and show them everything and say that? Do I need to work with an accountant or an auditor?
Yeah, there is a part of the filing you can do for yourself if you know how to do it. But then it's very technical. So there's possibility that you may make mistakes, and it will take more stress to correct the mistakes. But then you can still do it yourself. But there is a part that you cannot do by yourself. You need not just an accountant, a professional accountant. And not just a professional accountant that is into audit.
That has the seal.
Yes, that has the seal that is into audit. That's putting together your financial statement. You need to put together your financial statement, then the auditor audits the financial statement to see if it aligns based on standard and based on the tax laws, or then before you get to file. So at the point where the financial statement has been done, of course, you can take it from there and file yourself. If you understand the technicalities completely, you can file it yourself. But then you may experience challenges. So most times people just say, okay, let me just hand over the whole process. So that, of course, even from the financial statement and from the filing, there's a possibility that a professional accountant that is into tax and audit can see areas where your taxes can be reasonably
to reduce your tax
within the tax law.
Within the tax law. Okay, so is to avoid going, being penny wise, pound foolish, you might decide to do it yourself, go through all the stress and still end up even paying more and, disturbing yourself for nothing. So it will just be better to have a professional help you do it, relieve your stress and end up paying less tax. So let's now go to VAT. I've been hearing so many things about VAT. Please tell us what is VAT and how does VAT affect us as business owners?
Okay, VAT is basically value-added tax.
Okay.
VAT is basically value-added tax. So people get to pay value-added tax on goods or services they offer. Though there are some services and there are some goods that are exempt from value-added tax. Basic goods like medical products, school educational products, like books that has to do with educational products, medical products like even up to sanitary pads and the rest. Those
Okay.
are value-added tax exempt. But then value-added tax is charged at 7.5%. So if you're carrying out a business that is taxable based on value, that is vatable, then you need to be paying 7.5% of the transaction, because VAT is a transaction-based tax. Okay, let's take for instance, you are into the medical line. Ideally, medical products are not supposed to pay VAT, but you decide to go outside the medical line to do basic supplies that are not within the medical line. You pay VAT on that particular transaction,
Okay.
because VAT is a transaction-based tax. So a lot of people will get confused. They think, okay, once I register my company as a firm, even though I decide to go and do something outside the firm, I'm not supposed to pay VAT because the company is a firm. No. It's not done that way, because value-added tax is transaction-based tax,
Okay.
and it's charged at 7.5%.
Okay. I'm also hearing that there are some VAT that you can claim back for your business. How does that work?
Yeah, there is what is called input and output VAT. You know, for instance, let's assume you're a manufacturer. You want to go and buy products that you manufacture what you sell. Then you want to go and buy those products. VAT is charged. You charge VAT
Okay.
when you are going to buy those raw material. So when you get to produce those things you are selling, you now charge your customers VAT.
Okay.
When you charge your customers back, you file and claim back.
Oh.
So it's just basically like you are claiming back the VAT you have paid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's not like income. I was thinking
No,
it
no,
was
no.
like
No,
making
that's-
money from the government.
No, that's input and output. So you are
Okay.
claiming the money that you have paid before.
Okay, so let's go to record keeping. You know that a lot of small businesses don't really keep any records. They just know that they sell, the money is plenty, they go and buy more, and they sell. What is your advice for them going forward?
You know, the core of taxes is record keeping. Try taxes. If every business owner decides to keep accurate record, then taxes will be more straightforward. That's the core. But most business owners don't keep taxes, and they don't keep records, and this becomes a very big problem. Because at the end of the day, when they're assessing your taxes, you yourself, you are not even sure of your numbers.
Okay.
So whatever assessment the tax office raises for you, you just be running helter-skelter to see how you can meet up.
Yes.
But then if you know your numbers and then an assessment is raised for you, you can say, no, this particular assessment that has been raised, because of XYZ reason in line with this provision of the tax law, I know my numbers and this is not supposed to be there. And the tax office will review it. If it's okay, they will let it go. And that's where we come in as tax consultants. Most of the time when they raise assessments for our clients, we get to look at the assessment that has been raised and then look at the tax law. Then understand the client's numbers. You know, even in course, because we are professionals, we can understand how the number structure is.
Yes.
But then if you are not a professional, you may not understand how it is. But we, because we are professionals, even when there is course, we can understand the whole numbers as it is. Then look at it in line with the tax law, and then we'll face the tax office, represent the client as, okay, because of this is not supposed to be there. Because there are provisions in the tax law. There are provisions in the tax law that provides incentives.
Okay.
Let's have a little example now. There are properties. You know, most of our clients operate in the real estate sector, though our clients are all over. But then, recently we have been playing the real estate sector to help our clients take care of taxes and value-added tax.
Because they deal in big numbers.
Yeah, you know, they deal in big numbers because value-added tax is not charged on sale of property. But then, before now, it was not in the tax law. But then there were decided cases. There were decided cases by the tax appeal tribunal that said, okay, value-added tax should not be charged on properties. So most of the times, clients are issued assessment of value-added taxes. Okay, you're supposed to pay value-added tax on this. Real estate companies are issued assessment on value-added taxes. So we now represent them based on decided cases. But now in the upcoming tax law that takes effect on 1st of January, it has been clearly stated that property is exempted from value-added tax.
Good. All right. Let me still take you back to record keeping. How does a small business keep good records?
Well, a small business can keep a good record. There are different ways you can do that. We have helped some of our clients deploy accounting systems that help them keep accurate records. But
Okay,
then,
like digital, everything is just done, calculated for them digitally.
tech-driven accounting systems.
Okay.
Incorporate tech solutions into your accounting system.
Okay.
But then it costs quite some money.
Can you give me like an average?
Depends on the size of the company. But from 1 million, you can get a decent software that takes care of your record.
Okay.
But then for people that are just starting out,
Yes.
they can still use spreadsheet. You can develop spreadsheet templates, but that is not, we don't always recommend that because spreadsheet is not locked. It's not locked in the sense that you may just have your spreadsheet open and your hand just
make
touch,
mistake
make mistake,
clear something.
you understand, then it will be hard for you to
And even many people are not good at spreadsheets. Many
You
people find it
understand?
very confusing.
Yeah.
So what if they go the normal notes, tick back long notes that our Onitsha main market guys use? Is that viable?
Yeah, that's actually viable, but that's a traditional method, and it has been so long because if you need to do anything about taxes, you want to file your taxes, all those things you have written down has to still be moved to an electronic system that
Okay.
your financial statement will be developed and tax will be prepared. So it's
Okay.
just that you're doing double work. You are moving from, you have to write it down, then you still carry it and type it in the system and still. So
Anyway, the young shall grow. Someone will shall start somewhere.
that's true.
All right. So basically, what I'm getting here is that everybody needs to plan ahead. So, what of business owners that have been running their businesses without registering? They're just using their personal bank accounts to do their business. What is the way forward?
Oh, well, I think those that are actually on a time bomb because, like I said earlier,
Time bomb.
they're actually on a time bomb because, like I said earlier, if you are carrying out a business without registering, it's a crime
It's a crime.
based on Company and Allied Matters Act.
Yes.
But the only thing is the government always go for the low hanging fruit. So let's assume there are no low hanging fruits again, then they will come for
They
you.
will come for you.
Yeah.
All right. So please, if you're a business owner, whether it is small or big, make sure that you register your business either as a business name or as an LLC and start keeping proper records. All right. So before we talk about investors, let's talk about something that has been making my DM to shake, which is Nigerians in diaspora. Wow, they are asking so many questions. In fact, they said that there is something called remittance tax, that they heard now that anytime they send money to their relatives in Nigeria, that they will pay tax on it. Please, how does this new tax law affect our Nigerians abroad?
Okay, most of those, a lot of people have been having panic about the new tax law, and then a lot of conversation has been coming up. But then most of those taxes are actually charges based on that transaction they're carrying out.
Okay.
But everybody just call everything taxes.
Tax.
They just call
Oh,
everything
okay.
taxes.
Okay.
So someone again was telling me, was asking me, was it last week that the bank has started charging VAT? I said the VAT the bank is charging. Well, you know when you make a transfer, sometimes you see a debit alert of
15 naira,
VAT.
5 naira, all those
Sometimes you
things.
see a debit alert of VAT that's very small.
Yes, yes,
So
like 2
that
naira.
so that VAT the government is charged. That VAT is based on the service
The
fee they have
transfer,
charged you.
yes,
Good, they have
yes,
charged
yes.
you. So them is they are collecting their own VAT to give to the
Yes,
government.
yes,
You understand?
okay.
But then people just have a lot of perception about. But then most
Okay.
of those remittance taxes, those are charges, charges from the bank.
So that's a big relief. So if you're abroad and you're sending money to your family in Nigeria, you're not paying tax. Whatever deduction you see are simply charges based on bank transfers and the rest. They are not taxed by the government, right?
Yes. Government taxes on banks, stamp duty, 15 naira, and those are not really very reasonable.
All right. Okay, so that's a huge relief. So now, what of Nigerians that are outside the country, but they have a very strong tie to Nigeria? You know, they're always visiting, you know, they're coming and going. Like their life is also, you know, happening well in Nigeria. How does this new tax law affect them? But they don't live here. They don't earn here. How does this tax affect them? Tax law.
Okay. If you are a Nigerian in diaspora, you're always visiting Nigeria. You don't live here. You don't earn money here, and then you have nothing to do with Nigerian banks based on business. No. Of course, the tax law. What you are just doing basically when you get to buy something, they charge you additional tax on maybe your groceries and the rest. So that's basically the tax you're paying. There maybe
That's the VAT you pay when you make all those.
all those purchases. But then if you are earning here, you have to pay personal income tax.
Okay.
And then if you stay 183 days straight in Nigeria, that means that's basically for expatriate. Then you have to pay personal income tax. That's even if you are not in Nigeria, you are in Nigeria. You are working in Nigeria. You have stayed for 183 days.
That's about 6 months.
You need to pay personal income tax.
At a stretch, or is it cumulative? Okay, it must be at a stretch. Okay.
And then you are always in and out of Nigeria. So diasporans, Nigerians that are staying in diaspora, basically, if you are doing business or you are earning in Nigeria, you need to pay taxes, of course. But if you are not doing any of those.
So how does this new tax law affect dual citizens? Someone that is a citizen in US or UK and is also a citizen in Nigeria. Does this dual citizenship, does it affect the person's tax in any way?
Well, it doesn't affect the taxes because if you are a citizen in Nigeria and you are a citizen in the US, you are going to pay taxes on your transactions in Nigeria, either as personal income tax or as a business.
Okay.
So it doesn't affect your taxes in a way because you are going to pay tax like every other Nigerian because you are in Nigeria.
Okay.
So personal income taxes if you receive income in Nigeria, personal income taxes, or if you even though you receive income from abroad and you stay in Nigeria and you have stayed in Nigeria for some time, you are going to still pay personal income tax in Nigeria based on the residency rule.
Okay.
And then if you do businesses in Nigeria, you're still going to pay tax. So it
Okay.
doesn't affect your citizenship.
Okay. So I have a question because I realize that I have a lot of one-on-one clients that are Nigerians in diaspora. And I notice that something that is very common among them is that they have rental property in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So they have houses on rent or even offices on rent.
Yeah.
So they are collecting rent in Nigeria. And that is their only income source from Nigeria. How does this tax affect them?
All right, they're already doing business in Nigeria.
Okay.
They are doing business in Nigeria. So if they are receiving the money personally, they'll pay personal income tax.
Okay.
And then if they are receiving the money as a business, of course, if it's a limited liability company, they'll pay company income tax. If it's a business name, they'll still pay personal income tax as the business.
Okay. So let me understand. If the rent is less than 50 million,
Yeah.
is it advisable for them to just continue receiving it personally into their bank account?
No, if it's less than 50 million naira, based on the new upcoming tax law that starts take effect from 1st January, I advise they explore the option of going through the route of limited liability company.
Limited liability company, right?
Yeah.
So if it is sizable, they should just convert to a limited liability company.
Yeah,
But if it is small, maybe they are receiving rent of about 5 million a year.
Yeah.
What do you think they should do?
Well, even at 5 million a year, they will still get to pay personal income tax.
So it's still better for them to just go and
they just have a
get an
standard
LLC.
structure. Yeah, to have a standard structure. for
Okay.
it.
So you've heard from the horse's mouth. If you are living abroad and you have business income, maybe from your rent or from any other thing you're doing, it might be advisable to move to getting an LLC. But remember that you should always talk to a consultant, and he is available to attend to you. Okay, I think we have touched on this before, but let me still refresh. If I'm abroad, I'm living abroad, I'm already earning abroad, and I'm paying my taxes there, maybe in US, and I still maybe do a little business in Nigeria, like maybe this rent, for example, and I earn. How does the tax system work? So I'm going to pay tax there, and I'll still pay here.
Yeah, you are going to pay tax based on your income you earn in Nigeria.
Okay, so I'll pay for Nigerian income in Nigeria, and I'll pay for US income in US.
Yes, that's if you stay in the US. The only property, the only business type you have in Nigeria is just your
It's
rental
just
property.
yes. So that is the only one that is going to be affected.
Yeah.
There will be no mix-up. I'm not paying Nigeria for US income or paying US for Nigerian income.
No.
They are completely separate.
Yeah, they are completely separate. And the thing is, the only challenge is most people in the diaspora tend to move money from one Nigerian bank account to another and receive monies and all. So they need to be more careful with that so that the government don't categorize all the money as income. Yeah.
Yes. So make sure you label your transactions very well.
Yeah.
So now, what of Nigerians abroad that are planning to move back to Nigeria?
Yeah.
Maybe because they're saying that things are looking good for them in Nigeria, so they want to move back. This new tax system, does it encourage that decision, or are you telling them stay back, or are you telling them come?
Yeah, it's like it's always said, home sweet home. Home sweet home. So
there's no place like home, right?
Yeah, there's no place like home. So basically, the tax law is neutral about if you want to relocate. If you want to come back to Nigeria, it's fine. The only thing you just need to get to know that if you are making money in Nigeria, you have to pay your taxes.
Okay.
So the tax law, it does not impose any additional burden on people that are relocating back.
Okay.
In fact, the government is actually trying to make Nigeria very conducive for more Nigeria to jackpot. Is it jackpot? Come back to Nigeria.
Jackpot back. All right, so for our Nigerians in diaspora, you don't have to be afraid. Your payments to Nigeria, your gifts and helping your family and friends in Nigeria is not going to be taxed. Nobody is taxing you just because you want to send money to your dad or your brother or your sister. Those transactions are not taxed. You are only taxed on income that you earn from Nigeria. It's only when you're making money from Nigeria, that is the only thing you're going to be taxed. If you make money there and you decide to send some of them to Nigeria, you will not be taxed on that. Now, let's move on to investors, people that buy shares, real estate, maybe even invest in crypto. Yeah. How does this new tax law affect them? Because all this while we have not been paying much on these things. Yeah. So how does this new tax law affect investors? Okay,
let's start with people that buy shares. People that actually buy shares and maybe they receive dividends. Of course, the company or the organization withholding tax. Yeah. Yes. Some of it is already taxed as withholding taxes. Yes. All right. So basically that's what applies to that. And then people that invest in crypto, of course, if it's a transaction, the taxes is always talking about transactions. What has translated to income. If it's an income, it will be taxed. Yeah.
Yes.
If it's an income, it will be taxed. And then the tax law is clear. Section 3 of the personal income tax, or income from all sources. will be
Okay.
taxed. Yeah.
Okay, so the emphasis is on income.
Yes.
Not just in and out of money.
Yes.
Money can pass without it being income.
Yeah, but
Right.
you have to prove that
You
there's
have
no
to
income.
prove it.
Yes.
You have to prove it. Okay, so if you're into crypto, you're into stocks, you're into real estate, you are only going to be taxed on the income part of your transaction, which you have to prove. And that is why it is good to keep records. It is good to label your transactions. Don't just move money and say, just leave the description. That place that is allowed for description during transfers should be used. Use it to describe what that money is for so that it will not be labeled as income because you only pay tax on income. All right, now, so this is a very important part now for especially our Gen Zs that are into crypto and Forex trading. They have been like, what is this whole thing? They were just on their own, jeje, making their money, jeje, without disturbing anybody. People have come now to drag them into this whole paying tax. So what is your advice now for crypto traders, Forex traders that are making so much money? I don't want to call names, but I know some of the big players in this space,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
How does this whole thing affect them and what should they do going forward?
Okay, my candid advice is they need to get tax experts because they make so much money.
They
That's
make
the
so
fact.
much
and
money.
then their expenses are
I'm actually learning.
they make so much money and their expenses are not so much.
Yes.
Not so significant.
Okay.
So that means that's more money for the government.
More
The government
money, more income, because a lot of their money is income.
Yes, that's more money for the government. Someone want to ask, what of the trades that they have lost? Well, trades that they have lost, of course, the money did not transfer into your bank account.
Okay.
So that can be permissible because most of the trades you lost hangs on the system you are trading.
Yes.
It doesn't come to your bank account. But anything that drops in your bank account is taxable.
Okay, so let me understand something. If I'm trading with a platform
No.
and I leave the money there, I won't pay tax on it. It's only when I convert it into my bank account that it counts as income.
Yeah, yes. When the money drops in your bank account, of course, it's income. Even on that trading platform, it's actually income if you have earned it.
But
From the
government will
trading.
not see that.
And that's the challenge. So government don't stress themselves so much. They go for the
Yes.
low hanging fruit. So if the low hanging fruit has been exhausted, they will now want to know what's that money hanging there.
And in there. This is serious. Okay, now, so for crypto traders and Forex traders, what should they do? Okay, you've said that they should, get a tax consultant to help them and all. But apart from that also, what should they be doing in their trades? Should they leave the money there in crypto? Should they try to spend only crypto and not convert to Naira? What else should they really do?
Okay, why them spending via crypto looks like a very smart idea. Currently, as we speak, the House of Reps, the Green Chambers are currently having discussions on how to regulate and put more stricter guidelines on digital
These
trade.
people should leave us alone now.
Put more guidelines on digital trade, and I know that also has to do transcend to taxes. You understand? So the conversation is currently on the floor of the House of Reps currently as we're having this conversation.
Wow.
So why looking at keeping the money there is a smart idea? If they are able to find a way around it, that is also become much of a problem. Because sincerely, from my own analysis, government is targeting these digital guys.
Yeah.
Because the government is moving to digital economy. Because the government have seen that there's so much money
There's so
in
much
digital
money
economy.
there.
In fact, if the government decides to focus only on digital economy,
They will meet their targets.
They will over exceed their targets.
Okay, so basically, if you're making money from crypto or from Forex, don't try to play smart, all right? Get the help of a tax consultant or a tax expert to help you, look into and do and don't try to hide, okay? Just be upfront with it, and that way you'll be able to limit the amount of money you're giving them. Because just like you said, you guys are actually the main target of this thing. Because salary earners have already been paying.
Yeah.
Business owners, all the small business owners, their money is small. It's you guys that are making this big money. You're the main target. So just try and, be proactive and get a tax consultant to help you package your books ahead of time so that you can pay little to no tax. All right, so because this video is going to be a long one, I'm going to cut it off into different sections. So all you have to do is just look below this video and you see the different sections for salary earners, for investors, for Nigerians in diaspora, for freelancers, so that you can just go straight to the particular section that you need. Going on now, we are going to be going into question and answer. So I actually made a short video asking you to send in your tax questions. And guys, you guys bombarded me with so many questions. I have so many. So now we're going to quickly run through these questions and hopefully yours is included. All right, starting from question number 1. If one have not filed his tax before next year, would the rollover affect his tax payment?
Yes, basically, because you have not filed, you are already on a time bomb because penalties are already accumulating for you, even you know or you don't know.
Okay.
The penalties are already accumulating. So the faster you get to clear the backlog, and then focus on what is coming, the better.
Okay. So this also, I think he also said, secondly, if you already have money in your account before 2026, can they calculate with the money from 2025 in the account? So this is still the same thing. They actually have the right to go back. They can go as back as they want.
Yeah, but the thing is, when it comes to taxes in Nigeria, taxes are on self-assessment. Nobody will charge you tax on the money. They will allow you to bring your computation of your taxes you are willing to pay. Or computation of taxes based on the tax law. Tax you compute yourself and take it to them that this is what you have done, this is what you are paying. So when you bring it, then they can check. What do you have? What do you bring? What is the income you have gotten for a certain period? So nobody is going to your account to go and tax and deduct money from your account.
Do you hear that? Nobody is going to your account to come and take money by force. You are going to be the one to present to the tax office what your income is, and they will now charge based on that income. So if you want the best, outcome, you can have a tax consultant or a professional be the one to present this for you. But know that you are the one that will take your assessment to the tax office to look at. Now, going to the second question, how do I handle two things? I have a business name and an LLC with different things.
Okay, business name and LLC are two structure of companies. So it's okay to have a business name that has a thing on its own and LLC that has a thing on its own. But then there are a situation where some people have a business name first and they upgrade to an LLC. So in that case, only the LLC thing you can proceed using
the business name can be forgotten.
Yeah, it can be forgotten.
Okay, next question. I have a limited company and a personal current account. I operate the current account most. How do I pay my tax? So basically, the person has one business, but they're using their personal current account mostly for it. How do they pay their tax?
Okay, in the eyes of the tax law, that's a tax evasion measure. In the eyes of the tax law, that's a tax evasion measure because basically you have a business account and you're operating.
You're hiding it.
Yeah, you're hiding it. So in the eyes of the tax law, what comes to your personal account now, it's in the purview of personal income tax.
Personal income tax, which can be high.
So you have a company, so that is company income tax. So by this now, the assumption here is you are taking money from they are supposed to pay for company income tax and pushing it to the areas of personal income tax.
Which is not advisable.
All
right, another question. If you have or run mobile app accounts, example, OPay, and these app accounts are usually for utility accounts where you just put small money for daily expenses, how will you be taxed?
Well, if those accounts are just for expenses, then if you calculate your income, if there are allowable expenses, you can use those expenses to reduce your taxes. And that's possible. So if you are going to pay personal income tax and the government is assessing you, they assess you from all your incomes and you're supposed to present all your bank statements, not just one. So that's an ideal situation. So if those expenses are allowable expenses, you can use it to reduce your personal income tax if it's a business.
When I submit my tax assessment, must I bring out all my accounts? What if I hide one? Would they find out? Can they really know all the accounts I have? If I have accounts with like 5 banks and I submit 4, would they find the 5th one?
The truth is the FIRS, let me just say the FIRS now, because I know the state tax office will develop that capacity. The FIRS has a touchlight that they can touch. In fact, let me just give a scenario. There's a client who have been working on, and then we had the tax representation for the client, and we're like, okay, the client did not give us full disclosure. And then the client had accounts way back as 2005, different accounts, had up to 12 bank accounts for these businesses. He's doing
12.
The client has 3 businesses who are actually working on. He has 12 bank accounts for the 3 businesses. He gave us only 5. And then
we did 7.
We didn't know. So when we got to the tax office, we saw a file that had to contain all the whole bank accounts, even the one he has closed.
What?
Even the ones he has closed.
There's no hiding place.
There's no hiding place. So except they don't want to come for you. If they want to come for you, they can dig out any information you want. The government has all the system. So they can dig out any information. That's why I always emphasize that after God is government. So you just need to be careful.
After God is government. Okay, so they can fish out. Don't try to hide bank accounts. They can fish it out. All right. So the next question says, I have a private registered company and also a cooperative multipurpose society. Am I going to be paying taxes on both?
No. A cooperative society is, in our situation, is not a taxable organization. But then if you are using it to carry out business transactions, you are going to pay tax on those business transactions. But a cooperative society, in its real sense, is not a taxable organization.
It's not an income-making
organization. It's not supposed to be taxed. But then if you are doing transactions...
If the transactions become suspicious.
Yes, become suspicious, of course, they want to, what is happening here? Come and explain. And if there are business transactions, then it becomes an issue.
And you pay penalty.
Yeah, it's now become an issue of tax evasion.
Which is punishable by law. Okay, now another question is, how will POS operators be taxed?
Well, they will be taxed on their income. I know people want to think that all the money that passes through the account, no, the government is fair. It taxes on profit. So if it's a
Profit.
business, they will tax it on profit,
There's
not
only those small 100 naira, 200 naira
all those
charges.
profits they make,
Okay.
they will be taxed. So
And
if they can present the case of their expenses properly and it's
properly.
actually accurate,
Yes.
they'll be taxed on just their profit.
And that tax is based on the whole personal income tax, the first 800,
Yeah,
the next.
yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm yet to get my TIN after applying. How do I get it?
Okay, there are different ways you can get your thing. You can actually apply online. There's a JTB link. People apply to get a website. People
Yes.
apply and get a thing. And then if you want to stress yourself further, you can walk to the nearest tax office.
He said if you want to stress yourself,
You can walk to your
nearest
state tax office.
Yes.
Where you reside. If you reside in
Okay.
Abuja, you go to FCIRS.
Okay.
You reside in Lagos, you go to LIRS to obtain a thing. But that's
Okay.
if you want to stress yourself. But if you don't want to, you go to JTB, apply for thing, they approve, and you have your thing.
Actually, people that are having this issue are people that have gone to the website, the JTB website. They have applied, but they're not getting the TIN. So
it could be an issue of congestion because recently when the whole thing issue
many
came out, many
people
are just putting in application.
Yes. Oh, did you hear that? So it could be congestion.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you wait and you don't still get it, you can go to the nearest tax office to, the tax office nearest to you and
The state tax office.
the state tax office nearest to you and get it sorted. All right. So the next question is: I am a pastor. Do I pay tax? Does my church pay tax on the offering? Okay, I'm going to combine it because another question is also from a pastor. He said, as a pastor, I have a POS with a bank account that is in my name. Will I be paying tax on the transfers that passes through the account? Please advise on the best tax saving practice that is legal. So how does this tax thing affect pastors?
Okay, let's look at it. Pastors, the first one is if they can pay tax on their offering. No, churches don't pay taxes.
Okay.
Churches
don't pay taxes.
Church fall into the category of churches fall into the category of incorporated trustees, so they don't pay taxes.
Okay.
That's the church. The offering is not taxable.
Okay.
Because it's not taxable based on the law. But then if you are earning salary as a pastor or you are earning allowance, that allowance ideally is supposed to be taxable.
Okay.
But in our country there is so much religion that tax office don't want to go after them.
They will lay costs.
So
before man of God.
Yeah, so church workers, people that
Yeah.
work in the church that they pay them salary are supposed to be
Yes.
paying personal income tax
Okay.
because that's their income they are earning.
Yes.
But the church system is not
Tend
supposed to pay taxes.
Okay.
It's not supposed to pay taxes.
Okay.
And then coming to the issue of his POS, that is a business. You are a pastor, but that's a business. So you are
Yes.
supposed to pay tax
On that
business.
Okay, so basically churches are not taxable, but if you're a pastor and you're earning your church is paying you, then you're supposed to pay personal income on your salary, not on the offering and tithes. Okay. Now another question says, if someone sends money through your account to another, will you be taxed? What about financial gifts? Are they taxable? I think I can answer this. No, gifts and transfers are not taxable. You only pay tax on income.
Yeah.
You show that this is an income. That is only when you pay tax. Another question says, okay, this is a long one. Imagine an engineer who builds houses for people and clients send him money ranging to millions of naira to buy building materials and also to pay workers. And at the end of the year, the money that passes through his account is more than 50 million. But it was all used in purchasing materials and paying artisans. How will he be taxed? Mind you, this is just an individual engineer. He doesn't have a registered company.
Okay, with that volume of money, you're supposed to operate as a company because you're already doing business as an individual.
Yes.
And like I said earlier, it's a crime based on the company.
It's a crime.
Based on Company and Allied Matters Act.
Yes.
It's a crime. So what happens here is now he has to prove that those money is those expenses are expenses in the business.
Yes.
But then if after I finish proving now, they will now ask him why you running business with your personal
account. Yes.
So it's actually a complicated case for the person. So what I would advise is get a company, get a structure when the person pays, and then it doesn't stop there. I've consulted for most real estate companies and this particular issue comes off. Most of them, let's say for instance, they get to purchase a property for somebody. The property is 100 million for instance and then their commission is just 10 million. I used to advise them, if you have a possible way, receive only your commission, let the person pay directly to the person that is buying the property. So
But sometimes they don't want to connect that person to the owner.
That's the challenge. So you need to find a way around it because if you get to receive 100 million, you have already exceeded the small company benchmark. You are no longer a small company. But if you collect only your 10 million, you are still a small company.
Wow.
So you understand. So
see, if you're into real estate, the only advice I have for you is go and consult him. Go and consult him. If not, the tax they will bill you will be too much. Please consult a tax expert. All right. Now, if someone is coordinating a weekly contribution, Ajo, and the payment passed through her personal account, is such money taxable?
No. That money is not taxable because it's not a transaction. Because it's not a transaction and it's not an income. You understand? But if you are earning money as the secretary keeping, maybe they are giving you small
You have an
commission,
allowance,
an
yes.
allowance for keeping that money, then that allowance is taxable.
It's taxable.
Yeah.
And under Personal Income Tax
Yes.
Act. Okay. Now, another question says, as a business owner that is not registered by CAC and receives money through transfer into her account and waited for the money to be accumulated in order to purchase goods, how will I pay tax? I think we've answered this.
Yeah,
But you can
personal
just
income
give
tax.
personal income tax,
Yeah.
right? And that money, anyway, the person needs to keep proper records to show that that is not income, that is just, inflows from goods. Okay. Another question says, if I am a salary earner with a monthly salary of 150K, am I taxable from January 2026? If yes, how will the government deduct the tax, and what percentage and parameters will they use to deduct?
Come again, if you are
If I'm a salary earner with a monthly salary of 150K,
yes.
Am I taxable from January 2026? And if yes, how will the government deduct the tax? I think this question is going to come from people who are not working for standardized organizations.
Yeah.
Maybe someone like me now, if I have a staff.
They used to say me and me limited, I mean me and me business association.
Yes, now.
me and me business organization.
So the employer does not pay tax.
Yeah.
So, but they are salary earners. So how would they, operate this whole thing?
Well, they're already liable to taxes, to penalties already, because if you earn 150, you're supposed to have been paying taxes even before now. Yeah, so going forward, you still have to pay taxes. Okay. Because after you have taken the first 800,000, whatever is left will be taxed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, another person says, as a salary earner who is planning to establish a transportation and wholesale retail business later this year, can I register my future business as an LLC right now while I'm still a salary earner? And can I switch my salary account so that I can receive my salary through my LLC account?
From the first one, it's actually good to register your business now because they will not collect taxes from you until you start operating your business.
Until you start running transactions.
Yes. Yeah. They will not collect taxes from you until you start running transactions with your account. So it's fine. You can register now.
Okay.
And then put everything in order. Register for taxes, register everything, just pending when you start.
Yes.
Then that's fine. But then the second one, collecting your salary in your LLC, they will charge you for personal income tax. And when the money drops in,
you for company.
You may need to still even pay company income tax. So
that's not a wise move.
If you are not able to explain properly.
Yes.
Because it will not make rational sense to anybody. That
Yeah, so keep it separate. Yeah, keep your salary separate from your business account. All right, another question says, from business name to LLC, how do I go about it?
Okay, that's a very easy process with the Corporate Affairs Commission. Upgrade from business name to company and then proceed your business. It's not a hard process.
And that's a service you render?
Yeah, we offer our service at company.
All right, so his contact is going to be in the description if you need to open a fresh account or you need to move your business name to an LLC. He's here to help you. Another question says, for a business owner, what is the limit for tax on business name?
Okay, there is actually no limit on tax for business, and the more you earn, the more taxes you pay. That's it still goes down to that graduating rate tax table.
Okay.
So once the first 800,000 is taken off, the remaining thing is taxed.
So there's no limit.
There's no limit. If you earn 1 billion, the higher they will just be taxing you like that.
Okay. How can one migrate from enterprise to LLC? Is there any difference between enterprise and business name?
No. Enterprise is the same thing as business name.
Okay, so it's the same thing. All right, so there's something I've also been hearing about, for even Yaba Left has posted it, TV and radio tax. Can you tell us about it?
All right, TV, radio taxes, signboard, road taxes, and the rest. Those are basically local taxes.
Okay.
Most of the states have a gazette of those taxes. If you check their local tax gazettes, you see a gazette of those taxes to be paid. So there are a lot of taxes in that gazette, but the government is not enforcing them yet.
Okay.
There is TV and radio taxes. If you have TV and radio in your business premises, you're supposed to pay taxes on them. So just imagine government enforces that. Almost everybody has TV in their business place. So government is going to cash out so much. So there are a lot of areas of the taxes that the government is not enforcing.
That
the government is not enforcing. Yeah, the government is not enforcing even a good number of the taxes that are there in their constitution and in our books. Yeah. So those are gazetted taxes, local taxes.
Okay.
There's business premises, there is signboard, let's call it, yeah.
Signage.
Signage, that's the right word. There's business premises, signage, there are a lot of taxes. There is another one, whether they say drink and liquor or something, for selling liquor, drinks,
alcohol.
Yeah, there are a lot of taxes basically, but then the government doesn't just enforce all.
Okay.
So most of those taxes in some states, you see a lot of people going into shops and asking them, okay, we're giving you a notice of tax payment. Those are some of the taxes they're enforcing. Those are local taxes.
Another question is, will the money in my bank account be taxed? I live abroad. I pay my tax abroad. If I send money home into my local Naira account, am I expected to pay tax again on the money? I think we've answered this, but I can just drop a sentence.
Okay, then you are not actually expected to pay taxes. So far as it's clear, it's coming from you.
Yes.
Your foreign account, you are moving to your local account, it's coming from you. It's not supposed to be taxable.
It's not supposed to be.
It can be seen as internal transfer, transferring from you to you.
To you, okay. Do missionaries and pastors pay tax?
Well, if there is a clear structure if they have a clear salary structure.
Salary and allowance structure.
If they have a clear salary and allowance structure, they are supposed to pay tax on their salary.
On their salary.
Because they are earning money from offering services.
Yes.
But then in Nigeria, religion is a very hot topic on its own. So
very
people don't.
Topic.
Yeah, very sensitive. So
if I'm working in a tax office, I won't go near I won't go near any pastor. I beg. So how does this new tax law affect network marketers?
Okay, well, when you talk about network marketers, can you throw more light?
Network marketers, basically they are marketers for companies, and most of these companies are abroad.
Yeah.
So most of them, and in fact, I used to be a network marketer. I still am. I currently still earn from a network marketing company, but I'm not so serious with it again. So this company is a US-based company. Yeah. So we are paid in dollars, like we get our pay slip in dollars, but when the money hits our account, it's in Naira.
Yeah.
So when I receive my pay slip, I'm already seeing the tax. It's already taxed. So how do I still have to pay tax again?
Okay, basically, when we have been talking about personal income tax, but then there is a part of it we have not touched about so much. As an individual working for an organization, there's a possibility that your tax will be withholding tax, not personal income tax.
Okay.
Because some people are on contract, working on contract basis.
Yes.
They don't have a standard offer letter or contract that I'm working. It's just based on contracts after some time. So those particular people, most of their earnings are charged withholding taxes, not. Let's take for instance, I have a company that does cleaning, and then I'm offering cleaning service for a bank. So if the bank wants to pay me, they'll withholding tax. They will charge from it. Then, of course. So even individuals, there are some services you offer company that you are not a staff of the company. You are just offering it for a duration of time. Maybe like 1 week sharp services you offer them. They are not going to deduct personal income taxes, withholding tax. So it depends on the structure. If the network marketing structure is just based on contract, let me just do for 1 month and go. It could be a withholding tax structure.
Okay.
But then if it's full-time employment, it could be personal income tax. Yeah.
Okay, so this is my own personal question now. I have this YouTube channel and I earn from YouTube. So YouTube pays me in dollars straight into my dollar account.
Yeah.
So, and every month they send me just like this pay. They give me a breakdown of the pay this thing, and I see that they have taken their tax.
Yeah.
So now when this dollar hits my account, what would the tax officer in Nigeria say?
Okay, you're actually supposed to pay personal income tax on it. So when you are going to pay those tax, then the tax that YouTube has taken from you already, after you have computed your tax to pay, then that tax YouTube have taken from me, there's a possibility that I can use it to offset the tax you're supposed to pay in Nigeria.
From the tax
yes, you're supposed to pay in Nigeria. Okay. Then especially, I don't really have full idea from which country YouTube is operating from US. So if Nigeria has a tax treaty with US, it will make it seem more easier for you to offset the amount.
Okay. So that means that in as much as I am earning from US, but I am still bound to pay to Nigeria.
Yeah. So you do check and balance. If US, they are deducting the tax already. So if there's a tax treaty, it will be easier for you to offset the amount when you calculate your taxes on that particular income to pay. Yes. So you don't pay double taxation on that income.
Yes. Because YouTube has US has already taken their own. So you're not supposed to pay again. So they have to remove that one that they've taken. All right, that makes sense. So what if I'm earning in USD while all my expenses are in Naira? How do I balance it? Also, what about associations? Would their funds be taxed as well?
Well, associations, they don't tax association, but if they start making transactions.
Using it as business.
And that's business. There are transactions and they are paying people for allowances and services. Those allowances is what will be taxed. But their contribution is not taxed.
Okay.
Their contribution is not taxed.
Okay. And if you're earning in USD and your expenses are in Naira, I think
you actually get to pay income tax, but it will be, of course, the USD will be converted to Naira based on CBN rate.
Yes.
And then you offset your allowable expenses and pay. Yeah.
Okay. So I've collected my TIN almost 4 years ago. It's limited, but I've never used or paid tax on it. Yeah. How do I do? Should I register another one or pay on that?
No, you cannot have two things on one particular company. So you have
Okay.
to just go and register for taxes. If it's an LLC, like the person said, there's what is called a tax promax account. There's an online tax account. We call it tax promax with the FIRS. So you
Okay.
just carry that in, go and set up a tax promax account. And if you have been doing business for the past 4 years, then you already have penalties to pay.
Backlog and
Yeah, you
penalties.
already have backlog and penalties to pay. But then if if you have not done business, then it's still fine.
Okay.
You just open the tax promax account, then going forward you just continue from there.
Okay, we are coming to an end here. So, what are the top 3 to 5 key takeaways that you're going to give anyone watching this video now on what they should be doing between now and January 2026?
Okay, if you are an individual, get your TIN, regularize your taxes with the state tax office in the state you stay. If you are a business, also get your TIN, set up a tax promax. If you are a limited liability company, set up your tax promax, and then pay attention to incentives that are in the tax law, or hire a tax consultant that will pay attention to those incentives and help you pay the minimum tax possible in line within the tax law.
Okay.
More like a tax avoidance, using incentives to help you reduce your taxes if you are a business owner. And then if you are operating a business name, you may need to consider upgrading to a limited liability company if your income is above 50 million, or if you are below 50 million, you need to ensure that all your expenses are actually accurately captured so that you can offset it from your income and pay the minimum taxes possible. Then again, if you are a remote worker, you need to also pay attention to your income, register for taxes, because penalty will start accruing and you may end up paying much higher if you don't pay attention to it now.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what of those that cannot yet afford to hire a tax consultant? Are there other resources or guides that they can use pending when they can afford to hire one?
Yeah, there are a lot of resources out there, but then some of them may not just be easily understood because the Nigerian tax act, the whole tax act that has been signed are out there, but then most of the time you need interpretation. That's why I have a YouTube channel that has talked about basically tax.
Oh, you have a YouTube
Yeah,
channel that
that
talks
talks
about
about
that.
tax.
Oh,
So
good.
I
I'm going
break
to
it
put the
down.
link to the video so that you can go
Yeah.
and learn.
So I ensure I break it down to a layman's understanding, so that I get to understand exactly. I think I have a couple of videos there that are so much enriching. A lot of people have reached out, oh, your videos are good, I've understood this, and I've gotten clarity. So I believe with that, any person watching it can be able to get clarity on the basic and the most important aspect of taxes. And then there are more updates and more videos that will be coming in subsequent months. Yeah,
Okay, that's good to know. So even if you cannot afford one yet, he has a YouTube video that explains all these tax things in a way that you will be able to understand. And of course, it's our prayer that our business will keep on growing so that we can actually afford to bring in professionals to help make it easy for us. So here's my last question. Change is always scary. What's your advice to anyone who is watching right now and is feeling anxious and overwhelmed with this whole thing?
Okay, well, it's like you said, change is actually scary, but what I would just want people to understand is that the noise is becoming too much, but then the implementable action on this particular new tax law is not so scary like people seem.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not so scary. All you just need to do is to ensure you're on the right side of the tax law. That's all.
That's all.
Yeah, because as you said, in law, ignorance is not a defense. So if you are ignorant of it, it still apply to you. So what you just need to do is to pay attention to it and be on the right side of the
Information is
tax law.
power.
Yeah, information is power actually, because there is a lot of information asymmetry about taxes in previous years, but now people are beginning to have that growing consciousness about taxes. So just if you have someone close to you that knows taxes, just ask them questions. If you cannot afford a consultant, you can get people close to you, or then, like you said, visit my YouTube channel, and then there are other resources that can help you understand these taxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Tehemba, for breaking this whole thing down. I already feel less stressed, and I hope that everyone watching me right now also feels the same way. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's nice being here.
And to everyone watching this, yes, taxes aren't fun, but they are part of the game, and we just have to get ahead. So now that we have all this information, what to do is to start taking action and do your part. Don't wait until it's too late to start figuring things out. If you found this video helpful, then share it with someone that you know would benefit from it, maybe a salary earner, a freelancer, a crypto trader, or a Nigerian abroad. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, if you would like to learn how you can manage your money better, make money, and find profitable and verified investment opportunities in Nigeria, then make sure you click that subscribe button and follow Finance with Anne. All the necessary resources will be in the link under this description, like how to contact Mr. Tehemba to get him to work for you as a tax consultant, or to help you move your business from a business name to an LLC, or to form a new one altogether. His contact details will be in the description of this video, and also the link to his YouTube channel will also be in the description of this video. Till I see you in my next video, keep dreaming big and keep working hard towards your dreams. I'm rooting for you. Bye for now.